And it has sentimental value. This is my very first briefcase. That's awesome. All right.
Who is going to be secretary?
Yes, who would like to be secretary? You are vice, sir, so you
Yes.
cannot. One of you two? Take your pick. I'll let you decide.
You just do it.
Or I could just do it.
Well, no, I'm talking to
Oh.
Mr. Bacha,
Okay.
All right.
although I guess he does have seniority.
All right. Let's get everything all over the table today, and I just grabbed it, stacked it, and threw it in the envelope.
And if you want, that's fair.
I was just searching through everything for Dave's letter from last time.
You know what? The last thing I had was my
Mine was not.
agenda, and I don't think it made it in.
So there's only 4 of us.
Do you happen to have an extra agenda? By chance, please? Yep. I printed it, I wrote on it, and I left it. Oh, thank you, I didn't realize they were there, thank you. I'm sorry.
I just didn't print out.
Have I told you lately how much I appreciate you? I really do appreciate you. You know how I feel. Okay. All right. I am ready whenever you all are. Ready? Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone, the two of you. Welcome to the Harrison Township Planning Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, May 18th, 2023, and we'll get started at 7:02. May I have a roll call, please?
Member Batcha, present. Member Devlin,
Here.
Member Duncan,
Excused?
Member Mulder,
Here.
Member Oparka,
Excused?
Member Tominello,
Excused?
Chairperson Murray.
Present. May I have approval of the agenda as presented, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mulder, Ms. Devlin, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. May I have approval of our minutes from April 20th? We received an amended version in email, which I read but did not print. Oh, look what I found. So, but I did note the correction that you made. The only other thing, and I've been meaning to ask this for a bit, when we reference in motions, if we don't say, and I think we usually do, letter of April 14th, you know, the planner's letter of, and specify the date, if we could be real careful to do that. I noticed it wasn't in the, and I know you go verbatim, so we obviously missed it. So we will get into that practice, so that when we're doing our motion and we say, referencing the planner's letter of, we specify the date, especially like consideration where we're carrying over from case to case, a date to date, like we are with the Eagles. We have 2 sets of planners' letters, so, okay, that was the only thing that I wanted to make note of.
I'll move to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay,
Support.
motion by Ms. Devlin, supported by Mr. Mulder to approve the minutes from April 20th, 2023. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first item this evening, please.
Case number 02-23-SLU. Return order of Eagles, number 1269. Regarding the expansion and amendment to the SLU to replace the temporary tent with a steel structure.
Thank you. We have tonight an amended site. We have additional documentation supporting the lighting planned. And from our last meeting, we have the original paperwork, the original supply documentation showing the steel structure and the planned structure and the survey, et cetera. We had sent, I don't know which one of you would like to come up? Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, nice to see you.
Thanks for having us back.
Thank you.
So you had given us a go-to on 4 things. So the sewer leads, you wanted on the stake survey. The septic field, you wanted on the stake survey. Those are done. You have new survey, updated stake surveys in front of you. The electrical lighting specifications should be in front of you as well. And then the last thing, you wanted proof that we were gonna hook to the sewer. We have the permit in our hand to do that, and all the equipment is in our parking lot, and that will happen on Tuesday morning.
Okay. Has a letter been supplied to the building department, or is that,
This is from the building
that,
department.
oh, okay, so,
Yeah, that's from our the excavating company that's gonna do the work. Permits have been pulled, gravel's in the parking lot,
okay.
they are ready to go.
So our building department's already seen it, they've already, obviously, if you've issued permits, then.
Water and sewer, yeah.
Okay, all right, excellent,
If you could just state your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ed Quartermatch,
thank you.
and the last name is Courtemanche.
Okay, C-O-U-R,
Temanche.
got it. Okay, so before us, we have our original fire prevention letter from Fire Marshal Shackett. No changes there. I have an email from Sabrina, actually from Dave Newmer, indicating that you have added the existing sanitary sewer, but you're not showing a connection to it. This is an email dated May 4th, so this is early. The proposed pavilion is shown partially impacting the existing septic drain field. In my last letter, I stated that I recommended approval provided they connected to the sewer. And then he goes on to say if we wanted to reuse the previous letter with the mention. The only change is that in item 1 of the original letter, he mentions that the septic drain field is not shown on the plans. You've indicated that it is now.
Yes.
And now it is, but the concern that the pavilion is impacting the drain field is still the same. So, did we have any updates regarding that? So, what you have in front of you, that is from our, that is an indication. Water and sewer, okay, so that, do we know if that's still an issue?
Well, I can tell you, they're gonna drain it and backfill it with the sand, and the county and the city watch them do that, and then they crush it. So there won't be a field anymore. It'll be gone.
And is, if that's satisfactory to,
the issue is that it's, on the plans here, you can kind of see it called out, this little, corner of
Yep.
it. So will a permit be required to do the septic field?
That's what that is, yep.
That
they're-
includes it in there?
that-
And the water and sewer department has to be there before they crush it.
okay,
Right.
all right,
Yep.
so everybody's in the
That's
know.
taken care of
Yep.
now.
To
Yep.
verify the
Permit
connection
issue.
before.
And
they
we also
destroy it.
paid our special assessment in full, the $25,920, and paid in full. We paid that in full. And like I said, the excavating company's there, that permit's been pulled. They witnessed the entire operation, is my understanding. And the crushing of the fields, well, the emptying of the fields, and then the crushing of the fields.
All right, so everyone's in agreement. Okay, and then the new piece of information that we have in our stack, in addition to the applicant's data, is the planner's letter. I Copy of that. So we know you're planning on going to seek a variance because of the less than 50 feet distance between the corner and the property line.
Yes, we can do that, or since the septic field's gone, we can add cement and move it the 50 feet. Either whichever way is the way we should do it, we'll do it.
Well, if you move it, then this changes.
Okay, then we'll go for the variance. That's fine. That's why I said whichever way is the proper way to do it, that's what we'll do. Yeah, we don't want to redo all that. We'll just apply for the variance.
So, okay, so, correct, right?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
okay, we'll apply for the variance then.
Okay. I don't think you're too far off.
No,
Right.
it's like 3.5, 4 feet maybe at the most. We're like 46 feet and some inches, I think. Something like that.
Oh, from the concrete versus from the corner of the structure.
No, from the water. We're not 50 feet from the water. We're like 47
45,
or
yeah.
46. something-
45.6.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's why I said we could either move it or go for the variance. They've always issued the variance, so we'll go that way.
All right.
It makes me think of a recent training we had.
You can make the motion conditioned on the variance.
And then when we're done with this, we have one other question.
All right. Thank
But
you.
we'll finish this. I don't want to muddy the water.
All right, so we've got that taken care of. All right, and then the other items, there was a couple of items, and I'm gonna assume you have a copy of Mr. Young's letter dated May 12th?
No, we do not.
Can
It might have come in email, but I didn't.
Oh, okay. Then I'll just quickly read this section.
Okay.
Unless, Adam, you want to,
Yeah, I can just kind of go
That would
through
be
the
fine.
couple of comments.
Yeah.
The only, on the site plan is that it needs to be sealed by the engineer who prepared it. It was prepared by an engineering firm.
Right, okay.
AEW. My electronic version, and Sabrina confirmed that her hard copy version doesn't have that engineer seal right here. So we'll just need that added. And
Okay.
the only other thing is that the zoning designation of this property and adjacent properties needs to be indicated on the site plan.
Okay.
That's the only two comments that I have, other than the variance, the fact that they need that
Yeah.
variance from the ZBA.
excellent. Thank you, sir. And then you wanted to mention something?
So we have a question. You guys had brought up the parking lot. So we can't afford to do it now. And I don't know if you've heard, but we had a break-in on Monday morning.
No.
So the Macomb County Sheriff is investigating that. So I can't say too much on it, but, it was convenient that we had Mother's Day and had 300-400 people in there because we did steaks for the moms. So our question is, there's a second lateral lead there. And so you guys had talked to us last time we were here about in the future, could you do something with the parking lot? Obviously, we can't right now because of paying $26,000 for the special assessment and paying the excavating company and then this pavilion. But we're wondering, since we're already digging that the parking lot, we're already digging to connect, should we have that second lead come into the property gates for if we ever do want to get to a point where we can do the parking lot with asphalt or whatever's required, that we don't have to have them come back out again and do this all a second time?
I wish Dave were here. I would think that would be a wise thing to do. I don't think we can tell you to do it.
No, we're kind of, because again, we're novices at this. If Sabrina wasn't helping us, we wouldn't even be this far. And so the question is, the company that's doing it, they're like, we can do both while we're here. It'll be a little cheaper because, we don't have to bring the equipment back. We don't have to get new gravel. We don't have to, do all the
Everything's already
additional
there.
steps. And we're like, well, we don't know if we would ever use that lead, but because of the way the property is, if we go to sell it, I would think that might be a selling feature, that you have your leads not sitting
Well,
in
and
a
it
parking lot.
It affords you some flexibility in the future
Right.
if you so choose to.
Right.
What's the purpose of that second lead?
Well, those are two parcels, and the previous secretary, somehow when they were doing South River back in 2003, he got the one lead moved almost to the property line, and the second lead, as you can see there, is on the other parcel. And so they're literally parallel to each other. So we were thinking of having them bring it into the gate in case we ever need that in the future, instead of if we go ahead and do a parking lot, say 3, 4, 5 years from now, then somebody down the road would have to dig up a whole parking lot to get to it. And so that's why I was asking the question, because again, we're lucky to be here.
So I would think that does make sense. You would need to talk to the building and DPW department. Possibly they would need to amend your permit.
Well, right, the company that we're using was there today, and
Okay.
they said they could issue that permit as well,
Okay.
because they're
Oh,
gonna
so
be
was
there.
already been some discussion then?
Yeah,
Okay,
there's been
good.
some discussion, but we just didn't know if that made sense to do it, or if this person was trying to sell us more than what we needed, kind of thing.
That wouldn't be something that triggers planning commission
Right,
review, so
right.
that could be handled
And-
internally.
And we really don't even have to
Yep.
mention it in
Right.
any of our discussion.
Right,
motion.
that's why I
Okay,
wanted to
got
bring
it.
it up as a question. Did you
Got
think
it.
it was prudent to do it since the, parking lot's already roped off and they're ready to dig and,
Well, I'm sorry to hear about the Monday morning events, but.
yeah, the worst part is that we have a jug for the kids for Christmas. One of the last things they did was grab it and put it under their arm and walk out. But good news is it's all on video, so hopefully they can catch them.
Good.
So, Adam, could we make it like, approved subject to the condition to add the line and connection to the plan? But not this one you're talking about, but the one that the engineers already referenced.
Okay, the connection to the
Oh.
building that they are,
Yeah, the missing one.
yeah, that should be added to the plan too, for the record, right? So since they're going to be submitting a revised plan, presumably that you'll approve contingent on that revised plan with the
Yeah,
seal
we can do that.
and the zoning designation, it should have the location of that lead specified from the sewer
Yeah.
to the building.
But we wouldn't, but our decision would be contingent upon,
Well, I mean,
Or-
if we wanted to, we could say, approved subject to the addition of these things, which is kind of where I'm leaning.
yeah,
but
yeah. I like
Since
that.
that'll probably be me or Ken making the motion.
No, I like that idea as well. Okay. All right, any other anything else to share from? No? Anything else that you would like to ask or add?
I don't think so. If you let us know what you need and we'll get it on there. We'll do whatever you ask to get it on there.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one more question? Adam, have you had a chance to look at the lights? Are the lumens such that, do you think they would be not intrusive on the neighbors? I know there's a big giant fence, so,
Yes, I looked and I believe that it's,
just that smaller,
for the project.
like yard, the
Yeah.
ones you typically find in
Yep.
yards, okay.
And all the lights will be contained within the structure, there won't be any lighting outside?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like these for my yard. These are nice.
So not really a point for us, but on the variance, so I see the water line and I see a property line.
Right.
So they need a variance to the property line, not the water line, correct?
Yeah, technically, the variance needs to go to the property line. The uniqueness of the situation is that, interestingly, their property line does not follow the water line. So that's something that the ZBA would consider, but that's correct. So from an intent standpoint, really the intent of the ordinance is that this would be 50 feet from the, really from the water's edge. But as it happens, the ordinance says to the property line. So, they meet it here on the side, it's just kind of this water side.
So it wouldn't be a 5-foot variance, it would be about a 40-foot
Yeah.
variance.
It would. It would.
But that also speaks to the uniqueness, though,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, I know we've encompassed that before. And especially the difference between the property line and the water line, the upland and the lowland, and.
Which is weird, that kind of leaves that area as owned by the
Yeah.
state. Or it could be not.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure the state's not gonna come over and mow it.
That is a practical.
Yeah.
Practical.
Well, then, it is up to us to determine the special land use considerations, the 8 standards. And we've all reviewed these. Excuse me, if anybody would like to address anything in particular, please do. Excuse me.
That's, I'll just note that I've looked at the 8 standards of special land use, and this change to the property doesn't really change the use, and I see no impact on the 8 standards from what they were.
Thank you. I concur. I really don't have anything else to add to this. The items that the planner is recommending have been discussed. The applicant is aware that he must seek a variance to meet the distance requirement. We have the other parts and pieces. Mr. Batcha, anything?
Nope, I agree with the observation that Member Mulder had made.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Devlin, anything additional?
Nope.
Okay. Motion, please? Using our handy dandy little cheater sheet, which I
It's
love,
not
by the
little.
way. Yeah, no, that's true, it's not little.
Well,
It's
in
quite
this-
daunting, actually.
I'm
is-
sorry, but
it
in
is-
this particular one, the special land use standards aren't really changing, and you'd already previously, in the this is just a revision of the special land use, so I would think in this particular instance, you don't have to go through one.
Thank you. Because this is a change to the one that came before us a few years back.
Right.
This is an amendment to an existing approved. Putting it all together, it's gonna be recycled anyway, right?
Ken, are you gathering yourself, or?
I was a little nervous with the new template for the, which I
know.
don't have in front of me, which is what I was just looking at.
Knowing now that.
But
And I was gonna I actually was gonna fill this out today. Knowing now that this is just truly an amendment to an existing approved, special land use already, then the addition of the, elements in this request are really all that's needed. Reference to the meeting the 8 standards and so on, the regular special land use items, I think would suffice. You may have this if you like, I have 3 others at home.
the expansion of the special land use, correct me if I'm wrong, is really just the permanent nature of the tent that was already outlined in your previous special, you know what I mean? It's just making it permanent as opposed to temporary. So none of the special land use standards really are, you know, your findings before haven't changed. It's just the fact that it's an expansion to permanency.
So previously, because it was a temporary structure, we had additional requirements that the applicant return to seek additional approvals. I think every few years.
That's correct, as a temporary structure,
Right.
it was.
And so
at
now,
least
those
once every
no
5
longer
years.
apply, so do we need to reference that they can come off that checkbox because now they're on this checkbox?
You don't need to reference that.
Okay, all right. Okay,
But that is a true statement.
yeah, thank you. I knew I remembered. Okay,
Okay, want me to try?
Yeah, you're
Are
more
you
than
ready
welcome
to-
to.
Okay, I move to approve this expansion and amendment to the special land use to replace a temporary tent with a permanent structure in case number 02-23-SLU for the Fraternal Order of Eagles, number 1269, subject to the comments of the engineer's letter dated May 4th and the fire marshal's letter dated May 5th, 2023, subject to a revised site plan submitted to staff that shows the sanitary line and connection, that shows the correct placement of the structure, subject to either a variance or an adjustment, that also contains an engineer's seal for who prepared the plan, and also shows the appropriate zoning of the subject property and the adjacent property.
excellent.
Support.
Motion stated, as stated, supported. Motion by Ms. Devlin, supported by Mr. Mulder. Any discussion on the motion, or anything additional required from, okay, any discussion on the motion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Good luck with everything.
yeah. Any new business? Any correspondence? Comments from the planner?
I just wanted to make you aware of the last tech team meeting, what was discussed. This was a discussion-only item. This is related, the property is along Jeffers Court, off of Jefferson, near Shook. I'm just gonna pull open the aerial so you can kind of see, get a picture here. Jefferson Avenue, Shook, the curve. It's actually this property right here. The property owner just came to the tech team and wanted to get some guidance and feedback on what could and would be allowed per the zoning ordinance. Looking to potentially put the property up on market, what could be sold as. So we shared the information with the applicant. The property actually is zoned HMR, high density multifamily residential district. That's our most intensive multifamily residential district in the community. All of this land here extending from these properties and extending to the south is part of that HMR district. So we just shared what could be allowed, what the development requirements could be, and that was the discussion.
So is any of the surrounding zoning similar, or is it truly a spot zoned piece?
So this is, as I said, this piece right here is zoned HMR, as are all of these properties, and continuing another quarter mile, half a mile, further in that direction. All of the properties fronting the lake are zoned HMR.
So do you think it was envisioned to be a hotel or something at one point?
Not a hotel, residential.
No, I mean like way in the way back. was
That I don't
Yeah,
know.
why is that not
When it
just
was
regular
zoned.
waterfront residential?
way back.
These properties here are apartments, those would be zone RM2, I believe.
Okay.
And these are RM3?
HMR.
I'm
so
sorry,
It's kind of like the next
H-
step up for residential.
I mid-rise.
High mid-rise. High
Mid-rise.
High and mid-rise residential.
That entire section from there,
I
all
didn't
the way down
realize.
to, was it Manila Street? That entire section,
Holy cow, I did not
Imagine how
realize
fun
that.
that meeting would be.
okay. So
I think from a practical standpoint, I think the difference between the HMR district and the RM2 district is the height allowance for a greater height. But from a practical standpoint, for a parcel of this size, you know, in order to justify the greater height and the cost for the greater height, that means you could have more units, but that also means you need more parking, more open space, greater setbacks. So from a practical standpoint, in order to have a taller structure on that property, you would need to have a greater acreage to do so.
Or build a parking
So,
garage.
and that was discussed during the meeting, that more likely what the HMR district also allows is for development under the RM2. So, you know, low-rise, multifamily residential, maybe attached condos, things of that nature, and we kind of concluded, at least just during the discussion, that that's more likely what would happen. It had to be kind of a low-rise maybe.
So the current owner is now more aware of
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
available to that property, how he has it and how
Yep.
he could sell it.
Yep.
Okay, so there was really no discussion on,
Correct. There's no concrete, you know,
Okay.
no idea of what they're actually gonna be doing, but,
and that was it? Was the only-
that was the only item, just
Great.
one item.
Okay, comments from the floor. Our next meeting is June 15th, 2023. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Support?
Support.
Okay, we are done, 7:33. Thanks, everyone.
Tomorrow, so.
You did a great job as secretary.